Hi there. This is a restorative practice for alleviating anxiety. So you might be thinking, well, you're standing up. How could this be a restorative practice? Turns out that in Judith Hanson Lasseter's book, Restore and Rebalance, she includes several standing inversions. So we're going to start with a couple of those. They're very simple, and I'm going to give you lots of options. So we're going to start in a standing forward fold. I've got a block in front of me. So some props you might want to have on hand. Blocks, blankets, a chair, and a mat. So feel free to pause the video if you need to grab any props. So I'm going to take this block and place it in front of me. I'm going to give you a side angle view first, and then I'm going to give you another option where I'm facing you. So I'm going to bend my knees as I come into this forward fold. And, oh, look at that. My head doesn't come all the way down to the block. So what I'm going to do is stack another block underneath this block. Still bending my knees. I'm going to come on down. Yeah, that's better. I'm going to step my feet back a little bit. So just kind of finding an appropriate distance between my feet and the block. And then I'm resting my head on the block lightly. And I'm resting the head right at my hairline. So at the top of the forehead, right there at the hairline. And then I'm just sort of bringing my hands to opposite elbows. Notice there's a little bend in my knees. If you need a bigger bend in your knees, that's fine. If blocks aren't working for you, another option is to use a chair. So rather than going all the way down to a block, you can just kind of rest your head on a chair. You can place as many blankets as you want on the chair. I'm just going to let my hands rest around the legs of the chair. So that's another option. One more option, you can see that my mat is very close to the wall. So what you might do is kind of back up to the wall. My feet are away from the wall. My hips are on the wall. And I'm just going to do my forward fold here with my sit bones against the wall and my head resting on my blocks. And that feels really good to me. Now, you could also use your chair instead of the blocks as you lean up against the wall, but this is a really great option. I like this one, so I'm going to stay here. We're going to be here for about a minute. So as you're here, you might want to practice some long, slow exhales. Make sure that your neck, your cervical spine, is as neutral as possible. So we don't want an arch in the neck, and we don't want to be rounded in the neck. So there should be no stress, or as little stress as possible, on the muscles in the neck. Relax your shoulders. I've got my hands on opposite elbows, but if you'd rather just place your hands on the floor or even on your legs or your feet, that actually feels pretty nice. Slow, steady breath here. Just a few more breaths. To come out, we're going to bend the knees nice and deep. And just inhale and come up nice and slow. Our next posture is a wide angle forward fold. So taking the feet out away from each other to whatever degree feels right to you. Some of us are going to like a nice wide stance, and others are going to want the feet closer together. So whatever feels right to you. Same thing here. We're going to bring the head down to our blocks or to our chair. So once again, whatever feels right to you, don't lock your knees. Keep a little bend in the knees. And then we're just going to stay here for about a minute or so. So it's recommended that starting out, you start here for about a minute. And you can work up to 3 minutes. Again, you can lean against a wall if you want, or you can just be out in the middle of the room without that extra support behind you. If you want to hold the calves or the shins, the ankles, the feet, you can. Keep going with those slow, steady breaths. If you like, you can imagine any tension in the upper back, the shoulders, the neck, just sort of flowing out through the crown of the head as you rest here. Again, my head's resting right at the point where my hair starts to grow, right at the hairline. See if there's any more tension you can let go of in the neck or the shoulders. Inversions like these are great for alleviating headaches as well. It seems a little counterintuitive to think that increasing the flow of blood to the head would alleviate a headache, but that is indeed the case. So once again, when you're ready to come out, bend your knees a little deeper, and then inhale and come up nice and slow. Good, let's step the feet together. You can toe heel the feet together. Our next posture is either legs up the wall. If you like legs up the wall, feel free to do that. But I'm going to be demonstrating a version of that with a chair. I like this version because I'm going to give myself a gentle back bend here with the blankets as well. So what I'm going to do, I've got a couple blankets stacked up here, and I've got another blanket on top of my chair. So I'm going to turn, I'm going to place my lower legs on the chair and kind of move the chair into a position that feels good to me. And then hopefully I've positioned myself right so that as I come back, I think I need to scoot up a little bit. Oh, there we go. So what we want, if you have some support underneath you, is we want the shoulder blades resting on the mat while the hips and the low back are on the bolster or the blankets. And this feels really good to me, although I wish I had moved away from the wall so that I could open my arms out. But what I'm going to do instead is just kind of bring my arms overhead and make a little diamond shape with my arms. So if you have space on either side of you, you can try taking your arms out to a T. And of course, if you feel more comfortable or possibly a little safer, a little more comforted with your hands on your belly, that's a great option as well. You could even cover up with a blanket here. And sometimes I like to take a folded blanket and place it across my lower abdomen. Gives a little more of a sense of security, adding a little weight to the body. So we're going to be here a little while longer. So let your legs be heavy, whether you're in the position that I'm in or if you're in legs up the wall. Just let the legs be heavy. Give the weight of the legs to the hips and the pelvis. If your lower legs are resting on a chair, give the weight of the lower legs to whatever's underneath you. If your mind starts to wander all over the place, you can come back to the sensation of the breath. You could even count your breaths if you like. And if anything becomes uncomfortable, feel free to change your position a little. So for example, if you have your arms out to a T and that just starts to feel a little stressful and you want to bring your hands to your belly, feel free to move and adjust. But do your best to avoid fidgeting. So once we've made our bodies comfortable enough, we sort of commit to stillness. For some of us, stillness comes easily. For others, it feels uncomfortable, feels like hard work. So do your best. So at this point, you have a couple of options. Option number one is to stop this recording and stay right here for as long as you like. Option number 2 is to come out of this position and make your way into Shavasana. So simply lying flat on the floor, maybe rolling up a blanket and placing it under the knees, maybe covering up with a blanket, and remaining there for as long as you like. When you're ready to come out, consider bringing your knees in towards your chest. And slowly rolling to one side, being extra careful if you were up on a bolster or a couple of blankets. Taking a moment just to rest here on your side. And then using your hands to press yourself up into a seated position again. Taking a moment to sit and observe. If you want to give yourself a little extra alleviation for anxiety, open one of your palms and place the thumb of the opposite hand into that palm. A little bit of pressure there. And then just massage the palm of the hand. Take some long, slow exhales as you're doing that. If that feels really good, you can stay with that hand. If you want, you can switch hands. And as you're continuing that slow, steady breathing, you might consider a little bit of bee breath, where we hum as we exhale. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling with a hum. Place your hands on your knees. One more exhale with a hum. Come back to your natural breath. Bring your hands to heart center. Take a deep breath in and a long, slow exhale. Thank you for practicing.